right, Mr. MiyagiStyle. Hey guys, been a long time. You guys still remember me? You know, that Chinese guy? Yeah? No? Anyways, guys, I'm gonna try and make this really short. Did it again. No, I'm not gonna make this short. Forget it. I haven't done a segment in a while, and I just want to do a couple things today. The first thing is I'm going to go over some of the accessories now that I've had some time to I think that's why I didn't do anything, because I wanted to play with these accessories from Insta360, and I've had a chance to play with them and get some tips and tricks, and there has been some questions on my channel about how to do this and how to do that, so hopefully I'll cover some of that in here. I'm going to do some comparisons as well, not a lot, just a couple. And there's going to be some tips and tricks, and I'm going to bring in the GPS remote, and then I'm going to get into a couple of third-party accessories that I think might be useful for you guys. It has been useful for me. So any questions, anything, drop me a line, but let's get on with it. Let's do this right now. I'm going to move the camera over here so you can actually see close up what I'm doing. So see you in a bit. Hey guys, I've got this zoomed down, so hopefully you guys can see. I got two cameras on this, so I'm going to take a look at both cameras. I got one shooting on my DJI, and then I got one shooting on my Sony. So I hope this focuses okay. So let me just try and focus in on this part here. First thing I'm going to go through here is the the multi-mount. Okay, there's been people asking about the multi-mount. Because they have a generic one. There's a generic one by Telesin. Okay, this is the one right here. Okay, it both similar things that they do, because they do have the expandable, adjustable arms. Like this one right here has the expandable, adjustable arms like this. Okay, and the multi-mount also has that as well. Okay. Now, what it doesn't have, and the big difference is, if I can get this open, that'd be great. So this is the expand. Let me just move this over here. So crowded here. Sorry, got too much crap. Okay, so these are the two arms right here. This is the multi-mount by Insta360 and Cytec. I think you can see it right there. Is it Cytec? Yeah, Jitech, sorry. Duh. So they partnered up with this company. They make a lot of accessories as well. The big difference between the two here is you can actually tell just by holding the two. Okay, the knockoff one it's definitely much cheaper. Like this one you can buy for like $10, and the multi-mount by Insta360 is about, Canadian wise, I'm just talking Canadian, it's about $80. So that's a big gap in terms of price. Now the advantages of the multi-mount as opposed to the Telesin knockoff one. Okay, first of all, strength. Look at the arms. Look at how thin this arm is here. And if you look at the arms on the Telesin, it's hollow. Okay, it is plastic. It's not metal. Okay, and this part right here is also quite thin compared to the one on the multi-mount. Okay, and if you also notice that if you look at the multi-mount, the secondary arm has reinforcement down the center on the inside, whereas the Telesin does not. The knobs themselves here, the knobs actually has quite a bit of play in terms of tightening on the Telesin, the knockoff one. Okay, where I like the Insta360 one, it has very little play, and it's just a quick turn, and it locks quite good on the arm itself, right? And it locks very well. Like it tightens quite well. Where I find sometimes this, you kind of have to crank it, and it's plastic, and I'll tell you why that's not a good thing. To get a good tight angle on this, or good tight hold on the arms itself. The handle itself, the handle on this one's kind of nice because it's kind of grip to it. But the problem with this handle is it's just a handle. Whereas I can understand why Insta360 went with this kind of harder handle, is that because the handle also switches into to a stand. Okay, like this, like a tripod stand. Okay, you don't have that with the knockoff, the Telesin one. It does, however, has a tripod, but it's kind of like you have to. If you look at the back, let me just loosen this up, and it has a little thing that you unscrew at the back. It's a pain because you gotta do this. It takes forever if you need something quick, and you gotta screw it back. And it opens as a tripod. You can stand it up like that. Okay. Now disadvantage of this method here. Okay, these legs are very thin. Any pressure on this downwards, you will snap these legs because this is plastic, right, with a couple screws holding it together. It doesn't have a wide spread as well. Look at the spread on these two. It doesn't have a wide spread. So if you have your arm in a certain angle, whether it's, let's say, for example, I have this retracted this way, right? I'm putting a lot of weight either in the forward, sideways, or backwards position on this one. Because the legs are so small, it will tip. Okay, so that's a disadvantage of that. So I think it's just for more vertical shooting. I wouldn't angle that arm any angle with this tiny little tripod. This one is actually relative. This one still tips if you have it way off to the side. But that's just the balance issue. You just have to move around with it to balance it out. This one, there really isn't a lot of play in balancing. So that's a disadvantage of this one. So you get what you pay for with the, you know, it's cheap. It does the job. Like if you just want something simple, you know, it does the job, right? But the ruggedness, you're not gonna get. Like this is a tank compared to this guy. It feels like a toy. It's light. The other thing I noticed is this is the second one I've been through. Okay, so I had one years and years ago. And what happened was, because this is plastic, I don't think this is plastic. I think this is actually, it's either some sort of really hard plastic. It's very thick where the hinges are. Okay. On this one, you see how thin that is. Okay. So what happened with that is one day when I was turning this, it actually cracked one of the arms, or whatever you call them, the legs or the flat pieces, and it actually broke right off. It still held because there's still two other ones, but then it's broken, right? So you figure, well, what's going to happen to the other side? That's probably going to break as well. So yeah, there's that too. The last but not least thing is that on the head here, it's just a regular finger mount. Okay. On the one on the Insta360 is actually a rotation mount. It's a 1/4-inch rotation mount, which I like better, because when you fit something on here, sometimes you need to spin it around without spinning your whole mount around. You can't really do it with this unless you go into something like a you can buy those mounts. I don't know if I have it here. Ooh, I did have it here. That you can actually rotate and turn. But that's another piece on the mount, and then you got a mount on a mount on a mount, right? But this one just comes with it, and it's nice and convenient. So that's the nice thing about that. It's not bad, you know. For $10, it does the job, but it doesn't do as good a job, and it's not as strong. And I doubt this will last. This I'm pretty sure will last quite a long time. I already dropped this once, and there's not even a nick or chip on it or scratch. So that's that. So those are the multi-mounts. So definitely, if you guys can afford it, Insta360, this is actually the best I've seen in terms of a selfie stick, adjustable selfie stick, and a stand, and a tripod stand, right? And I have tons of selfie sticks, and I think I did a video on that already. So anyways, there's that. Okay, so that's that. I'll put that away. Okay, next up, go back into the magnetic holster again, since I really love this thing, and there's a couple questions in terms of the holster itself. Okay, how to install it. First thing I'm going to go through. So this is the memory card reader. Okay, a lot of people go, well, what do I need? You don't really need it. Where I really found a use for this is it's actually I'm not plugging it into my camera because I don't want to remove the door, plug it in, pop it out, pop in the door, blah, blah, blah. And the battery door is plastic. It's just going to break eventually, right? So I found a really neat use to this. So what I thought is, I have a tablet and a phone that I bring with me when I'm on vacation, right? So here's my tablet here. Okay, I'm going to do my tablet here. I do have to take my tablet out for this because of the case, unfortunately. Woo! Dying here. Woo! COVID! No, I'm just kidding. So let's say, for example, I take videos, I take photos, and I want to go in my Insta360 and I want to do my, edits and AI warp or whatever, or exports and stuff like that, right? Or stats and that kind of stuff. So typically what you would do with the camera is you would either connect it via wirelessly to your phone or your tablet, okay? Or you would connect it via cable from here to your tablet or your phone. Okay. Now the problem with that is when I'm connecting, let's say if I just want to download a pile of videos right away and I want to get my camera on the charger for the next use. So a lot of times where I'll come back at the resort from a beach day or a dive day, and you know, for me to take a shower and get ready, and I want to be able to take my camera back out again, and then do the rest of the day at the resort, and you know, for dinners and pools and bars and stuff like that, right? So what this initially does, and I found out, I already tested it once when I was in Cuba, was using this this memory card reader as an external card reader. So essentially what I'm doing is I always have 3 or 4 micro SD cards kicking around, and I bring with me because I don't stick with one SD card, because eventually that one SD get worn out, and I've had SD cards that just go bad for no reason. So I'm not stuck with one SD card. And they're cheap, so there's no reason why you shouldn't have a handful of those things kicking around when you're, especially when you're going on vacation, right? So initially what I would do is, let me just get this spun around here. Initially what I would do is, once I'm done my shoot, let's say I shot 10 videos, a few photos and stuff like that, and I'm down to half battery life on this, right? So what I usually do is I'll take my memory card out, pop it out, and I'm going to put a new one in there, fresh one in there, right? That's clean, that's formatted and ready to go, right? And I'm going to charge this baby. Okay, and how do I charge this? I have a quick charger. So this guy right here is accessory number 2. So if you ever get a chance or go away, invest in one of these. They're so cheap, and they're actually quick chargers, and they have different ports on them, and they're small enough, right? This will charge my camera several times. And if it has a cable that flips right, this one has a cable that flips right out. I'll plug it in, and this cell now sits on the side while I'm doing this and taking my shower and getting ready to go out again, right? So this memory card goes into this little card reader, right? I don't put this in my phone. I don't put this in my camera, okay? So there's a slot that when you open up, there's a little slot, and you have the lightning port here, and then you have the Type-C USB-C, which is what I use because I'm Android, right? Put the memory card in there, close it up, and what I usually do is I take this and I plug it into my tablet, okay? Now, here's the trick. For some reason, when I plug this into my tablet, it doesn't come up as an extra USB drive. It's something in this logic card that the Insta360 picks up. Now, on my tablet it doesn't, but on my phone it does. So it's kind of weird how Android reacts to this particular reader, okay? But that doesn't really matter, because I could just, what I want to do is I want to download it to my tablet. And the reason why I want to download it to my tablet, guys, is because my phone, my Pixel phone, I love this phone, don't get me wrong, but it has no expandable memory. I can't put memory cards in this, which kind of sucks. We're in a day and age where that's pretty standard, but Pixels don't allow you to do that. I don't think iPhones either, right? But this is an Android phone, right? So I'm limited. I only have 128 gig, and I've blown 96 gig on this thing, just on apps and documents and stuff like that, and videos and scans and stuff. Anyways, so I don't have a lot of room to play with here. 20 gig is not a lot when you're dealing with this camera, okay? Because at any given time, when I'm shooting 4K 30 on this thing, my video files are anywhere from 6 gig to 20 gig a piece, right? So one file would just chew up the memory on my phone. So my tablet is where it comes in, because my tablet does have quite a bit of memory internal. Plus, I have a big memory card on this as well. So what I do is when I plug this in and I download everything, it goes to the memory card. I have a 512 gig memory card on this thing, so there's plenty enough memory to get stuff on here. And then what initially I'll do is, once I get stuff on this tablet, right, and when I'm done for the rest, and I'm back in my resort, and that's my night, I'm getting ready for bed, I'll just sit in bed and I'll just transfer everything from here into a external SSD drive, which is the Crucial. Okay, this is half a terabyte as well, but you can buy, like, I really only need half a terabyte for a trip, because I do a lot of videos and photos. Like I bring 6 cameras with me when I go on a trip, so a lot of photos and videos go into this. And I also have two 512 USB keys that I carry with me just in case, right? So I always have lots of storage. I used to carry an actual portable drive, but they're bigger, and they actually have a big 2.5 SSDs in them. But I just find they're just cumbersome and they're slow. So these are really fast on these ones. You can buy these; they're not expensive. The Crucial 512 gigabyte cards. So I plug this directly into here, and I transfer all my videos from here to this as a backup. I copy it. I don't move it. I keep the files as much as I can here, because I'll work with the files here. I want to do AI warp, or I want to do color grading and that kind of stuff, post work, right? So I do most of my post work on my tablet, because I have the software for it. And this is a backup. This all in case I lose my tablet or it gets broken or whatever. I have all the videos and photo here. So that said, what I'm doing is I'm taking the memory card. So this is on a charger. New card's in, so ready to go. Okay, it won't take long to charge because of the fast charging. So one thing nice about these Pro is the fast charging is phenomenal. That's something that everybody seems to overlook. But compared to my DJI 4 or even GoPros, it's just it literally 10 minutes. You've got another day of shooting or a few hours of shooting, which is great. So anyways, back to this. So this unit, I have a USB-C on the side. Okay, let me just close. So it has the USB-C on. You can actually spin this USB-C around, which is kind of neat. So if you have something that's vertical or sideways, you can actually use this piece of hardware. The trick to this is, for some weird reason, my tablet, when I plug it in, it doesn't detect the unit. Okay, my phone does, but my tablet does. My tablet is a Samsung tablet. It actually looks kind of weird. I don't know if that's a security thing or not, right? I have to start up the Insta360 app. Okay, and then I plug it in. Okay, this is when it actually recognizes this module. So when I plug it in, I'm just gonna leave it in there. It takes a few seconds. I hope. Watch, it doesn't. Yeah, see. So now you'll notice that the two videos that were on the card that are on my camera is up on here on screen. Why do I do this instead of just using the app and connecting to the camera? Okay, the reason why is because when you connect to the camera wirelessly, if you're shooting 4K, even at 4K 30, this is what I'm shooting at, it's sluggish. It even tells you that to download the file onto your tablet or your phone to play it smoothly, because you're still doing in the air, right? So always in the air, it's gonna be choppy because you're pulling so much data, string so much data that it just doesn't work very well. So then you have to download it onto your tablet and then work from there with AI Warp or any post work. Now, the nice thing about this is actually like you're connected directly with the USB card, okay, the memory card. So there's no lag. So I can play it. There's no lag at all, right? So I can work off this unit instead of downloading it onto my tablet or my phone, okay? Which is nice because if like, for example, my Pixel phone, I don't have the memory to support 20 gig of video just to download and play with it. And then I have to export it, and that's going to be another 20 gig of video, right? So that becomes a problem because when you're out of room, you won't be able to do it. Whereas this way, if I'm working off this memory card, when I download it, it's just going to be downloaded onto my memory, my tablet. So you're not doubling your memory. So let's say if I go here, I can go stats, or I can do stats on here. So I can do speed, or I can do snapshot color plus. I can do color plus on here. So that's neat. I love color plus. Color plus is awesome, by the way. You can do face filters. You can do different filters. I can do this kind of filter. Basically, you can do LUTs on here as well, right? So the neat thing about that is that once I'm done, I can export it, and I can export directly into my tablet memory. And then from there, I can export that, or I can just copy that onto either my other external drive, or I can keep it or copy it to the external memory of my tablet, which I have plenty of, right? And that frees up that memory in my main memory, and I can do it again on my next run when I come back with a full handful of videos on here as well. So initially, I use it this way because I find it easier to do it this way. Because the reason why this is here is because when you plug it in, you can plug in a memory, and it just stores off this unit, and you pull it out, and then you basically do the same thing, right? But the problem with that is, for this to work, I have to pop the battery door out, and I don't want to do that because it is plastic and it will break eventually if you keep doing it, right? And this way, I just have to pop the memory card out and then put it in this unit, plug it into my tablet, and do my work, and then copy it and back it up. Right, and you're always swapping memory cards, so you're always going to, even if this takes, let's say if you have 20 videos, that's going to take forever to download. I'll just, if I have to, and I have to go, I'll just set this to download, throw it in the safe, and it'll just download by itself, and it'll shut off, right? And then I have this, and I'm out with this again to do more shoots. So that's the convenience of this, why I find this really useful. And I really like this method because it allows me to free up my camera for use and charging as well. So anyways, that's this piece right here. So that's the memory card reader, the external memory card reader. So, and you can just pop that out, and then it just basically disengages the card reader. So let me put this back. Might be a long one. I don't know. Okay, so I'm gonna put this back. So that's that. Put that aside. Okay, next up. Oh, the remote, GPS remote. Okay, I've had some time to play with this thing, and I really love it. Okay, and it just makes the stats overlay so much easier, because I used to have my Garmin watch, and you had to track it on the watch, and then you gotta make sure it's connected to the phone, to Insta360, and it's just too much work. Whereas the Insta360 remote is nice, is that once I turn this on, it's going to turn my camera on. Okay, automatically. It wakes my camera if you have it enabled, which I really like, because, you know, technically if you're using this, you're using your camera. So when I turn this on, this will turn on. And all I have to do is, and the neat thing about this is, once it's connected, let's say I've done some footage and I turn my camera off and my remote, keep your remote on, because if you're outdoors in your car, you want to keep this on because it keeps a GPS lock, right? Because it does take a few seconds and maybe a couple minutes to actually lock onto the GPS, especially when you're outside or when you're in your car, because GPS is very vulnerable to obstacles. So if you're indoors or in your car, it's tougher to lock onto a GPS signal. But once it locks on, it stays locked on, right? And you can even have 1 or 2 bars, but at least you're locked onto a satellite. So normally when I go in my car, turn this on, turns my camera on, my camera's on the dashboard. And even if I stop and I'm going into a store, I'll turn on my camera. I can do it 2 ways. I can shut it off manually, or I can do it on the remote. And for me to do it on the remote, all I have to do is keep the button, power button down, and it will give you a menu like this. Okay, so the top one is to turn the camera off, the middle one is to turn the GPS remote off, and the lower one, the last one, is to turn both units off, which is kind of neat, because now I can turn off either or both, right? So you'll see on here, see, automatic locks on, and I have a preview of my camera. And here's the tip and trick here for this. Some people are asking, well, can you change the HDR on this? Yes, you can. Somebody say, oh, you can't change the HDR on the remote. Yes, you can. What you'd have to do is you have to click on the, you have to click on the 4K 30. And you'll see kind of the exact same menu that you would see on your camera. But look at the top, okay? They just assume that you can't because they don't swipe. So when you swipe the top, you'll see active HDR. You can actually shut that off. So you can actually turn the HDR from the remote if you're far away from the remote, which is kind of nice, right? So that's one thing that somebody was asking or wasn't sure about. The other thing that one of the reviewers, what happened here? Ooh. One of the reviewers said that, well, it's too bad I can't cancel recording on the remote. Yes, you can. I actually posted on his one of the content creators on his thing. Yes, you can do that. So let's say if I record. So to record, you hit the record button. So now my camera's recording, right? And let's say I don't want it. I want to cancel recording. Now, typically, what you do is you keep the record button down, and it'll give you a cancel option, right? Same here. So what you do is you keep the record button down, and it cancels it. Okay, so you can do it on the remote as well. Okay, now here's the bad news. There's a glitch, there's a bug, and I've actually sent this to Insta360, and hopefully they'll look after this for the next firmware revision. There's a compass option. It's not a big deal. I don't really use it. There's a compass thing on here, okay, on the remote, okay, and the default orientation is this way, okay. So when you're setting it up right like that. If you want to change, there's an option to change the orientation of this. So if you're using a sideways or whatever, where is it? You have to go to setting. Okay, so let's say I want to change the orientation to 90 degrees. So I'm using it sideways. Okay, so I'm gonna change it to 90 degrees. Actually, you know what? Let's change it back to 90 degrees, to 0 degrees. I want to show you something, what I'm trying to talk about. So right now, if you look at the compass, I don't know if you can see that. So the arrow's pointing this way. So it's pointing that way. It's pointing southwest, and it's giving you the southwest degrees. Okay, it'll give you the latitude, longitude readings. And it gives you the degrees underneath the southwest abbreviation. And as I turn it, that'll change because my direction change, obviously, right? It's going to tell me, okay, I'm pointing south this time, and it's going to give me the south degrees. Okay, so I'm going to change this. So this is the upright position that I'm using. This is your typical default direction orientation. So I'm going to change that. Sorry guys, I didn't mean to say okay so much. I have to edit it out. I'm going to stop saying it. Okay, so orientation, I'm going to change it to 90 degrees. So it spins the straight 90 degrees. I'm going to go back. And I'll go back to the compass. If you look at the compass now, okay, the arrow's pointing this way now because I changed it to 90 degrees. Okay. Okay, I gotta stop saying that. This is my new word. Okay. So it's pointing southwest and it's giving the degrees at the bottom. Now, watch when I spin this. Did that change? Look at the compass itself. The wheel of the compass is correct, just like when it was in the default location. Technically, when you're using in this orientation, the southwest or the center reading and the green arrow should be where you're pointing. It should point to the direction and the compass direction and give you the degrees. But it's not. Look at the wheel. The wheel is correct, right? Because north is that way. See? You see north with a red notch. So it's pointing this way. My compass, the reading in the center and the green arrow is telling me I'm pointing southwest. Doesn't make sense. Because southwest is not this way. Because this way, technically, is northwest. So there's a glitch in the reading. So it should say northwest, not southwest. So it's all the way around. So southwest is that way, not this way. So it looks like it's missing 90 degrees. I think that's a glitch because the green arrow and the reading is supposed to be where you're facing, what direction you're facing, and the reading of the compass should be what's listed in the center, right? North is that way. So I'm pointing northwest. So it should say northwest, not southwest. Because southwest is this way. So this is the glitch. And it does the same with the 180. As when you change your orientation, the center reading is completely off. It doesn't coincide with the wheel, which is actually the correct reading, the compass wheel with the northwest, southeast. That's correct. The reading in the center and the arrow is completely wrong. That's a glitch. So hopefully they'll look into that. And I've sent the bug report to them. We shall see if they'll fix that. So I'm going to change the orientation back to 0. And I'll show you what I mean. Okay. So now, this is the orientation I'm at. Okay. It's pointing north that way, which is right. West is this way. And the reading in the center is right. Because it's telling me I'm pointing west with the green arrow that's pointing the direction that I'm looking at. Okay. And as I turn it, that changes. So now I'm pointing southwest. And it's exactly according to the wheel, the way the green arrow is. So that's right. So this orientation is correct. Center reading as well as the wheel, compass wheel reading. Okay. So we'll see what they say. Anyways, that's it for the remote. Guys, this is a great, I love this thing. I've been using it pretty much every freaking day. It has a couple of glitches that are also sent in. Mine, I don't know if anybody's happening with theirs, is that mine, the odd time will just disconnect from the camera. So, and then I have to reconnect everything. And once I reconnect everything, it's fine, right? But yeah, it's great. I've made a little mount for it. It's got the watch mount, it's got the handlebar mount. That was the other thing too that I've actually submitted. The wrist band. There's only one size and it's not adjustable. So for people with thick wrists, that'll be a problem because I have thin wrists and I've got maybe about 2 more notches to play with. I know guys have much thicker wrists than I have. There's no way that thing would fit them. I think they're looking into that. Maybe as an optional extender or an optional band that's available for people with larger wrists. So they should have included that in the first place. Anyways, that's it for the remote. It's not cheap. It's $200 Canadian. But if you can afford it, it's a great addition to your arsenal. Because you can remotely control your phone from pretty far away. I think what they're saying, 20 meters? It's like 60 feet. That's pretty far. I never use it that far, but I know it works really well because it's very responsive and the screen is gorgeous. It's a Super AMOLED screen. So that's it for this one. So move on to the next. Let me shut off my camera here. I'm wasting power. All right, on to the next. How's my time looking here? It's gonna be a long one, guys. Sorry, it's not gonna be short by any means. Because I've got a few things I want to cover. Okay. This is I'll do quickly with these ones here. This is the Albright. You know what? I thought this is kind of goofy looking. You know, it just clips on to the bottom of the it locks on. I was like, I never use this thing, but I actually have this thing on all the time. The reason why is because I could. Where's my? Oh, I don't have my clip. Okay, so what I can do is I can actually mount it. What am I doing here? What am I doing? Okay, so I can mount it this way, and I can just pop it out, and I can mount it vertically. The nice thing. I should probably put my thing here. So yeah, so for example, if I do food vlogging or whatever, I usually shoot vertically because I do it on TikTok and I do it on social media, right? So they're usually mostly in a portrait mode. So majority of times I'm landscape mode like this. But if I need to switch it over, it's nice and easy. I just pop it open and I just switch it over to vertical mode, and I just put my tripod out and I'm shooting my food vlogging. So there's that. Anyways, that's that for that. That's pretty simple, nothing major. Oh yeah, the other thing is a case. I bought this case, it was cheap. So it's nice to have the extra case, and I always carry this, just pops it in, close it, and you have the extra protection for your camera. Yay, whoopee, skippy. Awesome. Okay, boring. Moving on to the next. The Magnetic Selfie Holster. My absolute favorite accessory. I love this thing. It's just, I use it like constantly, and it's so easy to use. And I've got it on a tiny little, selfie tripod, and it actually extends too. So, and this is so nice and light and useful for me that I usually put it on here. I put on the actual stick. Where's my shorter stick? I have a shorter stick somewhere. Where'd it go? There she is. So I have a shorter stick that I use it with. And this, the reason why I go with this one is because it does go longer. So if I need something, if I'm hiking, I need a longer tripod, I'll bring this hiking with me. But everyday use, I'll bring this because it's lighter and I can always have a pop and open iPhone and just put it somewhere and just film myself. So kind of nice. Now, the question. This is the mount for it. Great little mount. I've used it. The magnet works awesome on this thing. I love it so much. It's just so worry-free, and it doesn't go anywhere, and just pop it open, it comes right out. And you can actually adjust this so you can actually go vertical as well, so you can turn this one around. So it's nice. The question that people have been asking me is how it's kind of confusing. So when you buy the selfie stick, the magnetic selfie stick, it comes with an Allen key, okay, a hex Allen key, okay, and it comes with this module right here, which is the main module for the so you get these three pieces right here. So you don't get this, you get this little piece, this, and this thing right here. People are like, what the heck's the Allen key for? Where does it go? Like, there's nowhere that this Allen key can turn. Like, there's no screw or anything like that, right? So it's kind of confusing. I think Insta360 did this just because they didn't want to make something different. They just threw in an Allen key, so they didn't have the design or manufacturer rod. Just so you know, this is not to turn anything. Okay, there's no hex screw to tighten or anything like that. This is only used as a leverage lever. Okay, and what I mean by that is, so I have this piece right here, and I need to mount my let's say my quick mount on here, right? And it's a 1/4 inch. Okay, so as I'm turning this, okay, this top is a disc on top with 4 holes in it. Okay, and it's basically the tightening screw. Okay, so what you want to do is, as you're putting this on, okay, I guess I'm saying, okay, bloody hell, you want to align the face of that quick connector, which is, the face is always the one with the little locking mechanism on there, and you want to align it to this oval shape, because that's the front of your selfie stick magnetic mount. The reason why I say it's a front is because when you lock it into your holster, it's facing forward. Because if you don't line it up with that, it's going to face left, right to you or whatever, right? And you don't want to do that, because you want to be able to film this way on your backpack. Okay, forward. Okay, so there's times where I'll film and I need my hands free. I'll just pop it on here and continue filming this way. So how do we achieve this alignment to this? So this is what the screw is for at the bottom, and it's really hard to tighten this screw, because you got to kind of adjust it and tighten it, and then it's not always facing the center. It's off tilted a little bit to the left or to the right. So what you do is you bring the wheel down. You tighten that wheel down as much as you can to the bottom, this way, so it doesn't go anymore. And then you take your quick mount and you turn it. Now, find out where your face is. This is my face, and I need to align it with this. Well, I'm surpassed it, and I can't go anymore on the quick mount. But I'm not aligned. I'm pointing a little bit tilted to the right, and I need to mount. I need to center it to this oval shape magnet. How do I do that? The trick to this is, and they kind of show you in the manual, but it's still confusing, right? They don't really tell you a lot. The trick to this is to turn your quick mount to face, to line up with the oval shape. So now I'm lined up with the oval shape. Quick mount, lined up. Okay. Now you hold your, or you don't need to. I just use this as a handle, as leverage. Take the Allen key that you were given. These holes, there's 4 holes on that spinning wheel, that tightening wheel. Okay, it's used as a leverage because you can't really tighten it with your finger. It's too hard. So you take this, put it on one of the holes, okay, and turn the disc while holding the quick mount. You don't want to be doing this too often, because I have one mount on there and it stays on there because it's a lot of trouble to get this aligned. I think that could have been designed a little bit better, but it is what it is. Hold the barrel here. Hold the quick mount aligned to this oval part. Put the Allen key in one of these holes. It doesn't fit in it perfectly. It's not a hex. It's just a hole. You take that hole, you hold the quick mount, and you tighten the wheel like this. And you keep doing it until it's tight. Take it out. Go to the next hole and tighten it. And you want to go upwards. Okay, so to tighten it upwards, you're spinning it, I don't know, I guess clockwise. If you look at it from the bottom down. If you're looking at it from the top, it's counterclockwise. But you'll know because it's starting to tighten as I use this Allen key as leverage. Okay. So I'm looking at it, making sure this is lined up with this. And if it's not lined up, just you can turn a little bit to get it lined up. Once you get it lined up again, do that again. Take it in until you get a nice tight fit, until you can't turn this anymore. See, now I can't turn, I'm tight. So now you're set. Okay. The reason why they do this is because if you don't tighten this on the top to this wheel, and even if you get a tightened finger tight and it's lined up, let me just tighten a little bit more here. Even if it's finger tight and lined up, okay, you have weight on top. And this is what happened to me when I did it with my finger. Okay, so I put it on. Everything's fine. I'm shooting. You know, it's good. The problem with this holster is disengage from the electronic, you're turning it this way. See what it's doing to the top? It's actually, it's like almost like a it's almost like a spinning top, and it snaps back. Okay, so let's try it again. I'll put on facing. I'm filming. To get it off, I spin it, and usually it's not that easy because when I take it out, I'm like, woo! I pull it right out, and this thing spins like it's like a top. It's like a spring-loaded spring on top. Now, the reason why, if you don't tighten it here, that spin will misalign, will go off a line because your finger is not tight enough to hold that quick mount onto the screw. So every time you go like this thing moves the top. It goes off alignment. So now you're pointing this way, you're pointing that way. Usually it's this way. Or no, sorry, loosen would be this way. So it points to the left because it starts to loosen up here. If you have the Allen key and you tighten this up to this mount, it's pretty tight. It ain't gonna move anywhere. For example, see, it's still straight, still straight. So I can do that a million times and that's fine. So that is how you use the Allen key. I think they should have listed that in the instruction. And the Allen key is just used as a lever to tighten that screw up to your connector. Capiche? All good. Works once you get it done. So now I've got it done. It's perfect. It's good. Okay? But yeah, guys, it's not cheap. This little bugger was about 80 bucks, $71 Canadian. And actually sold out right now. Some people were having problems getting stock. I know Amazon Canada still has stock on these. But US no stock, and neither, I don't think their website has stock either. They may have, I haven't checked lately. They may have replenished their stock. But a week ago they had zero. People were like, "Where do I get this? Where do I get this?" I'm like, "Yeah, I got it off Amazon. They still have stock at Amazon, so they must have had a pretty good inventory at the Canadian warehouse." But yeah, if you can get, it's so nice. It's rugged, and the to get it on is so easy. You know, I've got something like this from Polar Pro. And it's the screw takes forever for me to mount it. This one's like you just snap it on, tighten it, and screw it on, and boom, it's on. It's really, so you can move it from, you can loosen it to adjust, and you can move it from backpack to backpack to backpack very easily with this thing. And it's built solid. And the nice thing about this, it's really tiny. It's small profile. It's magnetic. Apparently, you can use it on the water. I wouldn't. Yeah, I don't know. Salt water and metal, not a good idea. Not in my opinion. Anyways, that's that. Okay. So we're going to get into, I think that's it for the Insta360 stuff. Guys, if you get a chance, please, these guys are the best accessories you can have in your bag. The Insta360 Magnetic Selfie Holster, which I use constantly, and the multi-mount. I love this thing. I'm not a big, multi-use because I just find them fat and ugly and heavy. But I'm finding that because this thing is so versatile that I'm using it more and more often, especially with vlogging and that kind of stuff. And it does have that little neat thing that pops out. Where is it? Yeah, where's this? No, so the neat thing that pops out, which is kind of cool. Where is it? Where is it? Oh, it's in here. This little thing right here that pops out that allows you to hook it onto a wall. That's really cool. Like, who thought of that? Great engineering. Beautiful, beautiful engineering. So, love it, love it, love it. So, a couple of accessories that are kind of cool. This thing. Coolest thing ever. Okay, so I'm going to go through 2 accessories and that's it. It's been long enough, so I won't cover too much. And I'll get into more later on with some new stuff that's coming. So, and I've also started a blog, so I'll talk after this. I'll move it back to my ugly face, and then we'll talk about this. Okay, this thing is really cool. If you ever need something with a fill light, there's really not a lot out in the market right now for action cameras. Okay, other than having, I've seen some rigs that have this massive freaking light on their rig. Like they have a big. They have the bracket, the cage with a big light, a big microphone. I don't want a big light. I don't want a big microphone. I just want something that just I can just put in my pocket and use if I need. I don't use it that much. So for me, it's not a big deal. For some of you, it may be a thing. You're a big vlogger or a seasoned vlogger that you always constantly vlog and you need that light. This is a really neat alternative. So it's a little light, like this. It's rechargeable and it's magnetic. And I can turn it on, right? And you can do different colors. Okay. And I think you can have it blinking too. I don't know. I think you have to hit it twice. The other button. Okay, so I use the white, and you can go strength, and it's really freaking bright. I tried this thing at night, and it's like I almost went blind. The neat thing about this is that it's magnetic. It has a magnet plate on top and a magnet plate at the bottom. Okay, so where can I use this in this application? Remember that holster I was talking about, the magnetic holster? A little magnet oval in the front. Check this out. That's a perfect, and it's rechargeable, USB-C rechargeable. And it lasts for a long time. This is an LED light. It lasts for a long, and the lighting is perfect. And you can go with an amber light and go with a white light or different color lights, right? Which is kind of neat. So if I'm not using this magnetic holster, and I need that magnet, now I bought this off Amazon. I'm going to return it. The reason why I bought this, I'm going to return it is because Amazon, they sell this at AliExpress as well, and it's like $7, and the one that comes from AliExpress comes with 2 metal double adhesive plates, so you can take those metal plates, stick it somewhere, and then use the magnet to stick it on here. This one I bought from Amazon is the exact same light. It's even the same brand. I don't know why they change it. It's like I said, it's the exact same brand with the same magnet location. It didn't come with those plates, and this thing was $25. So I bought it to test out to make sure it's okay. I'm going to return it because it doesn't have those metal plates. And the one I bought from AliExpress, which hopefully will come next week, I'll come back to it once I use it and do a quick review on it. It comes with the metal plate, so I can use it. I can stick it in different spots and then use the metal plates to stick this on. Now that said, this is why I did this, right? I actually have these little studded magnets. Let me just turn it off, blinding me, bloody hell. So I have these little studded magnets. They're like little tiny round cylinder magnets. And I thought, okay, wait a minute. If I'm using a regular selfie stick and I want to use this, like you can technically stick this on the side of this this metal bracket here, but it's kind of, it doesn't, like if I move this, it's just going to fly right off, right? So that's not going to work. Like if I do it, if I just need something quick and I'm not moving around a lot, that would work. It does work on that little L bracket for the Ace Pro. But if I want something a little bit more substantial that sticks a little bit better, so I actually designed and printed this little L-shaped bracket that actually just goes onto the side of this the thumb screw. So it screws in, so I can actually adjust it up and down and stuff like that, right? So you can see it up and down, okay? So what this basically does is allows me to take this and now I have a thing, and I can put that anywhere. It's just a standard L-shaped magnetic mount that just pops off, so I can put it on any selfie stick that's not the magnetic holster. So that works, and I really like that. I used it at nighttime, and it works really, really well. So that's something to look into, guys. If you want something like that, AliExpress is at like $6-7. Amazon's $22, and the Amazon one doesn't come with that those magnetic extra plates for you. The AliExpress one does, and I'll do a review on it once I get it. Hopefully next week. I think it's shipping already. So, but anyways, that's that. That's one. Okay, guys. The lens guard. I'm still seeing a lot of comments from people on, and I'm sure because they're newbies or they know better or they don't know any better or they haven't read anything or haven't really done a search. They're still bitching about, no, not for me. The lens guard is not replaceable. So I have to jump on. I have to say, hey guys, it is replaceable. It's just not sanctioned by Insta360. And by any means, guys, this is doing it on your own risk. But that said, I can understand where Insta360 wants to keep this to themselves in terms of dust and lint getting into the lens when you're replacing that lens guard. Okay, we're 3 months into this camera, and there's already people who've replaced this lens guard on their own, and they've had no issues. So it's not a lint or a dust issue. I don't know what their excuse is. But I'm hoping they will change this mentality in future production models, even in their next model. I hope they're not going to change it for their next model, because that leaves the people who have this model out, and that's not really fair to us. And Insta360 is infamous for listening to their customers, and I hope they will say one day, okay, guys, that screen is replaceable. Okay, and I think that's going to come, to be honest with you, because it's still today a kind of an issue for a lot of people. And it's not really an issue for me, because I have the replacement, and I can replace. I have the tool to pop it right. You can actually take your hand and just turn it right off, right? It is held together by 2 points of silicone inside, seal, which doesn't do anything to the waterproofing. It's just, they're just holding it so it's hard to take off, right? But we've seen a video where this has been dropped and that thing pops right off. So for them to prove that you did it on purpose, hard. It's going to be a hard proof. And again, Insta360 has been really good. Like, there's been people who smash their cameras or had water leaks and they've taken care of them. So I don't think they're going to give you a hard time with this. But again, I'm hoping that will change. Cross fingers. But this is it. This is the replacement lens guard that you can buy on AliExpress. It's not expensive. It's like $15, right? It's cheaper than what you would pay for the DJI one, this is the DJI A4 one, the replacement. Nice thing about DJI is they give you 2 of these. The one on the screen, one on the camera, and they give you an extra one just in case, right? I love DJI for stuff like this. They always do things like that. They always give you something extra, or they give you this, or it's bang for the dollar for those guys, and why I really stuck with DJI for a long time. And their customer support is excellent as well. GoPro, don't ask. So this is the lens guard. I actually like the design of this. It's an aMagisn one. I actually like the design. It's got like rigid edges on it. It looks like kind of cool on there. So when would I use this? Listen, guys, it's simple. It's not sanctioned by Insta360, which is fine. Whatever. Hoping they'll change that mentality. If I'm out somewhere in remote area and I can't get to Insta360's free replacement for any reason, and I'm going to go through a week or a few days without having a camera, I wouldn't have that problem because I carry multiple cameras with me. But if I want that camera for any reason, like nighttime, and I would replace that screen because my screen is cracked. I'd rather have a camera that I can use than lose those memories because, I'm not supposed to, quote unquote, remove that screen. But at the same time, I do that at my own risk. Now, which is more important to you, losing memory or taking that risk of maybe they'll say something, maybe they won't catch you or whatever. You know what I mean? So that's something you guys have to make a executive decision on. That's what I would do. Okay. But only if I'm in that situation where I don't have any other options. I will carry this with me at all times when I'm on my trip. I carry 2 of these. I have 2 of these. Just in case. I've never broken a screen yet with any of my my other cameras. So I don't anticipate that I'll do it with this one. But you never know. Accidents happen, right? And that can break. Okay. I'm going to get a little bit details about this. I'm going to end this. I'm going to do a conclusion. This is a great little thing. But there are issues with this. Okay. Earlier on, there was a gentleman by the name of Bassman Strikes, and he actually removed the lens protector, and he actually replaced it with the aMagisn one. And he did some testing with it in water, especially. Now, the problem with this is at the very beginning when he had this submersed in the water, it was fine. After a period of time, it started to leak. Okay. This lens guard is actually really well designed. It screws on nice and tight. It has the seal where the cavity is to prevent the water from getting into the lens part. That's not the problem. The problem with that is aMagisn, I think, cheaped out. See the red stripe? Okay. There's a piece of glass that sits on top of a frame. Okay. So what happened was the red that you see on here is actually where there's an adhesive double stick tape that holds that lens down onto the frame. And that started to, because of the water being submersed in water for so long, that started to come apart. Okay. So we have a quality issue with that, with the lens adhesive onto the frame. Okay.
we've actually, or he has actually reported this, and I also have as well when I ordered this. Hopefully they will start to take that in consideration and put better adhesive on the lens to adhere it to the frame itself. I think they will. Really, honestly, all they need is just marine silicone to bring that down and water seal tight that glass. Okay, cross fingers. That said, I would not use this underwater, period. Okay, until they fix this issue, and we don't know if they're going to fix it or not, or when they're going to fix it or not, or when they're going to take this in consideration. We have no clue. It's a Chinese company. We have no clue. I wouldn't risk it. I don't typically bring my camera down without a dive housing, period. It doesn't matter if it's a DJI or if it's a GoPro, if it's an action. I'm paranoid that way. And with the dive housing, it gives you that extra protection all around, not just waterproof. Okay, it protects your lenses, it protects your displays and stuff like that, right? For me to take this down snorkeling without any protection, you're just putting yourself at risk. It doesn't matter if this is an Ace Pro or GoPro or DJI Action 4. I have a DJI Action 4 here. If that thing touches water, it's going into the waterproof housing. Why is that? You guys are worried about this little lens thing, which is a very minimal cost to replace. Don't forget that the GoPro and the DJI both have color screens front and back. You break those things, you want to talk about expensive. You crack those things, and I've seen it happen. I've seen a GoPro with a front display cracked. Now, to fix that, good luck. Okay, because typically that's not carried under warranty, and you're going to pay for that. You might as well just buy a new camera if you're going to fix those screens, right? That's why I was kind of happy that they don't have an expensive screen in the front, because I don't use that front display very much. Even on my A4, I don't really use it. It's too small for me to frame it far away. It's just underwater. Don't even bother, right? Because I can't see it. It's kind of nice to have a cheap LED frame and just a status display in the front. Now, this screen I'm worried about, because this is the best screen of all the three cameras. This guy, if you break this, you might as well buy a new camera, right? So I'll protect it as much as I can. And this is no different than the A4 or the GoPro 12 or 11 or 10, right? They all have nice color screens in the back, with the exception that the GoPro and the DJI has also a nice screen in the front. So you're telling me people are concerned about not replacing this guy, this little screen here, when they have this pretty nice color, very expensive screen in the front and on the back, and they're worried about this little tiny glass thing here, which is $10 to replace if you had to. That is a deal breaker. That's insane, right? That said, that's my opinion only. Okay, I would use this as a great protection for the screen from scratches, impacts, that anything else but water. Yeah, the odd splash onto it. You know, if you're playing by the pool and you splash water onto it, or even if you submerge it for like a second, it's not going to do anything. Bassman only found out that through a period of long time submerged in the water, that started to lift. If I'm down in the water, submerged that long, I'm going to have a waterproof case in it. It's that simple. Listen, guys, the waterproof cases are cheap. You can buy the non-branded ones, the generic ones, for like $20 now. And they work. I have both. I have the one from Insta360, which is a great case. But I also ordered a generic one as a backup. And I've tested both in water, and they're both excellent. No problems. So, that's it for this. If you have any questions, ask me. It comes with a nice little tool to remove it. It's nice. I really like this. It's kind of cool. It's got little ridges on the side. It's very cool. So this is my little backup I carry with me. And I can't get it back. I just put it in the bag so I don't get smudges on it. And it goes in this little bag. It's a battery case. So this comes with me as replacements if vacation. There it goes. Done. Anyways, guys, I'm going to switch over to the screen. I'm going to do a conclusion, and we're done. I know it's a little longer than I really want it to be, but I knew this was going to be long. So I was BSing you at the front when I say, hey, let's make it short. You suck. Bye. I'll be back. All right, guys, I'm back. Just a tidbit of the close-up of what the accessories and stuff like that. So I'm just going to end this with a couple words.
I'm going to be doing a couple things. I started a podcast, so somebody had suggested, hey, I should do a podcast. Why not? What the heck? I get to rant even more. But I hope that helped. I'll try and jump on with some more stuff with the Ace Pro. So far, guys, I'm loving it. We're seeing again more and more videos coming out. And the nice thing about this is people who's been using it for 2-3 months now, and we're still getting positive reviews of the camera. You guys can call it biased or whatever, or sponsored or paid off or whatever, but those people are never going to be happy anyways. So, but yeah, it's good to see that. I've had mine for just 2.5 months now, I think, about close to 3 months. And guys, so far I'm loving it. I have my DJI A4. I love that camera too, but most of the time, I'm going to be honest with you, I'm going to pick up my Ace Pro and use it, just because I know I'm comfortable and I'm able to shoot in all types of environments, especially night. I like doing night shooting. I love night lights and seeing, you know, that kind of stuff. And that's why this camera really shines. And I've done some testing with the DJI with its large sensor as well. And then the DJI, don't get me wrong, it has great night footage, but there are a lot of areas where the DJI just can't stand up, like especially the stabilization. It just cannot compete with the Ace Pro. That's why we have that 5nm chip, right? So, but don't get me wrong, the DJI, you know, yeah, I can achieve quite good night shots if I'm shooting at 10-bit and I go into color posting or color grading later on. But see, that's the thing with this camera with the Ace Pros, is that you don't have to do that. You know what I mean? It does color grading in real time, which is really good. It's not perfect. You know, this is not a perfect camera by any means, and I've said that several times. But what comes out of this camera is quite impressive. You have a camera that I can just pick up, record, come home, download the video, send it to social media, send it to my friends, my family, that kind of thing. And I don't have to worry about a thing about it. Whereas the other ones, yeah, I can achieve that if I do color posting or color grading or post and stuff like that. Unfortunately, not everybody can do that or have the ability or the skill set to do that. So I'll leave it at that. Enjoy. Have a good one. Weekend is coming up. Have a great time, guys. Anyways, bye. Respect. Take care.